The Amazon rainforest is a haven for mammal species, with most of these species being very rarely seen. In this video we attempt to capture some of these rare animals on camera. But in such a short amount of time, how exactly do you film an animal which is so rarely seen?
So for those of you who have watched either of my two previous series in Botswana and Madagascar, you'll know that I absolutely love using these camera traps, and whilst I just generally tend to use them for fun, they are actually incredibly important when conducting research on elusive animals. So as you've probably already guessed, I have set this guy up in Peru for a few weeks and it has come up with some pretty good results, which we'll see at the end of this video. But right now, let's head to Peru and see actually how these guys are used. Researchers use these guys quite a lot, and they are very useful in terms of collecting data. Firstly, they can be really useful when surveying an area that hasn't really been surveyed before. They're great at seeing what sort of animals can be found in that particular survey area. Secondly, when animals are caught on video, it can reveal a lot about their behaviour. The camera may be able to catch videos of animals performing behaviours that haven't actually been seen before. So thankfully I've actually been lucky enough to join some of the researchers when they've been collecting their data, and we've seen some pretty amazing videos of different animals throughout the forest.
Now, a typical camera trap survey would be at least 6 to 9 months long, rather than a few weeks, which is what I'm doing. More time increases their chances of encountering different animal species. And over time, from the footage and pictures picked up from the camera traps, you can identify different individuals of the same species, as well as calculating their population densities.
Alright, so we are now setting up our camera trap. We'll be leaving it along this path for several weeks or so, which should give us enough time to hopefully get some really cool animals. But camera traps are incredibly hit and miss, so there's no guarantee we'll get anything, but I'm feeling particularly optimistic. So as promised at the start of the episode, we'll now go through and see what our little camera trap caught. So let's see what we got. Okay, that's a really brief one, but that is the tail of a possum. Very brief.
Well, a possum was my best guess anyway. If you have any suggestions as to what animal this is, please mention them in the comments below.
Okay, so this little mammal is called an agouti. Now agoutis are sort of medium-sized rodents. They look like a bit of a strange-looking guinea pig, but they're actually incredibly important. They're the only animal that can chew through the hard shell of a Brazil nut.
This is a good example of a mutualistic relationship, where the agouti benefits from feeding on the Brazil nuts, and the Brazil nut tree has its seeds dispersed by the agouti. So in hindsight, without human intervention, if the agouti were to go extinct, then the agouti and the Brazil nut tree's fates would be tied.
Here we go. So these are the peccaries. So peccaries are a small species of pig that are native to the Amazon and Central America. And you probably noticed from the video that they're actually quite skittish, and for a good reason too. There's lots of things that predate on peccaries. The particular species name of this peccary is a collared peccary. It's the most common species in the area. Here you can actually see really nicely the collared markings going around its shoulders. So pigs are naturally incredibly intelligent, and they're very curious animals. And as you can tell, they're particularly interested in the camera trap. Yeah, so I can tell this one is particularly interested. Giving it a good old sniff. And yeah, that just further goes on the point of how skittish they are. Oh, okay, so we've got a rat. That's something new at least. Okay, so now we're getting onto the much more elusive animals. We're actually finally seeing some cats. So that is an ocelot, and ocelots have the highest population density of any other cat species in the Amazon, and their markings are absolutely stunning. They are mainly terrestrial predators, they don't climb trees. If it was a cat that climbed trees, you'd see it have a much longer tail, but the tail of the ocelot is actually quite short.
However, don't be mistaken, as ocelots are still brilliant climbers. They're generalists, meaning they can survive in a variety of different environments, and haven't specialised to the arboreal life like other species such as the margay.
So ocelots may not be the biggest cats, but they are still incredibly powerful. There were a few occasions where we found the carcasses of armadillo where most likely an ocelot had bitten through the shell.
Ocelots also have a unique pattern on their fur. And with the use of 2 camera traps on either side of the trail, researchers can then identify particular individuals.
So that's I think our 4th ocelot video, so we've got lots of ocelots, but this is the big prize, a puma. Now, pumas are the 2nd biggest big cat in the Amazon, second only to the jaguar. And if you look closely, oh look at that, he's posing for the camera as well. If you look closely you can see all the lumps on his back. Those are caused by botflies. So these are botfly larvae and they feed on flesh, living flesh. And those lumps are looking like nearly fully grown botfly larvae. They'll soon develop into a large black fly.
There's loads of videos on YouTube of botfly removal, but you might want to watch it when you're not eating as it's pretty disgusting.
But that is one stunning animal, and pumas are incredibly elusive. They're very hard to find in rainforests, despite having one of the largest ranges of any big cat. They can be seen from Canada all the way down to the south of Argentina, which is all the way through the Americas. Okay, so that concludes our findings on our camera trap, and considering we were only there for a few weeks, those are some really impressive results. However, there are researchers at the research station all year round, and they also place camera traps. So let's have a look and see what they got.